where I felt like it was great to. It really was nice that we were both acknowledged in a higher role. I think and it was really very kind of John Kane to just come up to us and formally invite us. I know that you've been going to the Super Bigs, but I felt like, hey, I'm intruding if I go, because I talked to Nikki. I was like, I don't know if what am I supposed to do? I just really want to be respectful. And Nikki was like, yeah, it's closed to Super Bigs. I'm like, okay, no problem. I don't care. Like,
doesn't matter to me.
The information will come anyway somehow.
Right.
At least the information that bears fruit, right? So,
right.
But it's nice that he invited us. We got to be a part of that. I recorded it, but that wasn't very clear because obviously the phone mic doesn't really pick up very well.
No, it doesn't.
They were onto a lot of ideas, but I really think they're not working on what really matters.
The reps or the company?
The reps. The company is like, hey, let's shore up systems. Let's do the things that make you more profitable, and let's support, like since there's you and me helping to fill in the gaps that Vector can't provide. Now they're like, oh, I get it. Like they're like, we get it now. Oh, exactly. Lost $3 million, so we get it now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where we ended up. So I'm like, if you guys are not gonna take the lead on this, if nobody is, then I'm just gonna find a way to help. I just want to help. Otherwise, what's the point of help being in this industry, right? Except helping.
Well, otherwise we're just doing the same thing over and over, and it's not moving anything forward. So we've been working on some projects this week to move some things forward as well that people are asking for. So we're starting to work on that too. So
good for you guys.
Yeah.
So what do you want to talk about?
Let's see here. I know there was 2 or 3 things. I know we wanted to go over a little bit on Prima.
Yeah.
We want to go over a little bit on X2.
Yeah.
Did you want to do X2 now, or do you want me on one of those conference calls that you put on Facebook?
It's up to you. But if you want to join it may give you more insight, so we can talk about other things today. X2 is X2 is X2 is X2. Honestly, the beta testers and the people who are actually using it are testing it the most. I've stopped testing it as much, and I just keep telling people, just give us whatever glitches you have, just give it, so that we can go, oh, so the system's kind of broken here, let's re-examine whatever, and then I just go to the developers and say, okay, how do we fix that?
Exactly.
I'm trying to not put as much time, because this is free. I'm doing this for free.
I know.
I put in about close. I put in probably around 300 man hours. It's a lot of time.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, and Kristen Brinley's making from it.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, don't care. So, I would suggest that I'm gonna have you pop on the 4:30 call on Friday, which is 1:30 your time.
So 1:30 my time?
On Friday. I'll send you I'll add you to the schedule invite.
Let me just put it on my calendar real quick. Oh yeah, I'm free on Friday at 1:30. That's fine. Just send me the link if you can, because I know that a few people that I've talked to, they're like, well, is it good? Is it bad? How does it work? Is it going to transfer everything over? And I'm like, I don't know. I need to do the call, but I didn't know if we were doing it today or if we're going to do it on Friday, and I'm perfectly fine doing it on Friday.
Yeah, and I think Deanna she's away or something, because I know Kristen reached out to her. I don't know, but she's invited. So I'm gonna put you, Michelle.
Yes, I'm on the 1:30 or 1:30 Pacific on Friday.
Got it. Hold on. Jimenez. Come on, let's go. Let me send that to you before I forget.
Okay. Are you sending it to my email?
Yeah, I just send a Google Calendar invite, because then there's no question about time and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It's done. And then the Zoom meeting link is already in there, so just log right in,
Perfect.
I'm a bit nervous, but whatever.
You're nervous?
I am.
You're so funny.
I'm always nervous when I'm talking to a crowd of people. I was they when they had some kind of they all met up in Philly at some point, like I don't know, a couple of months back. And Kristen was like, "Hey, we're here. Can you walk us through?" And I'm like, I already had my notes, and I was like, okay, guys, I'm nervous, just so you guys know.
Yeah.
But I just propositioned it, and I just popped off after that. I'm not a born speaker. I'm a chatty one. You know that. We I'm chatty, but I'm not like wow, trained speaker like Vector in a DM that has to speak, and like my husband, he's like on the Deca board of whatever, So he's been hired as keynote speakers a few times, and I'm like,
Yeah, you're saying, yeah.
and I'm like,
I don't think they always expect that 100% from us. So luckily,
well, let's prove them
that's
wrong,
what
man.
we're expecting. As long as we can, talk to customers pretty well.
That's surprising, I guess. One of my goals is in 5 years to be able to give a TED
Oh,
talk.
nice.
Just for fun, you know.
Oh,
Yeah, so about about something organic, my goals, whatever, whatever that looks like, in helping to ideas we're sharing, right? It's what TED's all about, fun stuff like that.
yeah. I love listening to TED Talks. I used to listen to like 2 or 3 a week, and I haven't listened to one in a few months. So I need to get back into that.
They're fun. I use some of their stuff for calls, like for how to be a better speaker, how to be a better listener. There's a guy called, I can't remember, Julian Castle or something like that. He excellent talks, and they're only like 8 minutes long. And when you listen to, you're like, holy crap, I took away from that, like um, Julian something or rather. It's in my thingy. About if you're interested, I can send that to you. It's great stuff. And he's a TED talker. He's done 2 or 3 talks for them, and I save them in my queue. And when I onboard a new girl or whatever, I send that. I'm like, please watch this, all these. Yeah, I just want you to understand that we don't have videos for everything, but these are some of the resources we found are very helpful. So since you're a contractor, watch this.
Correct.
Simple. Use YouTube. Here's a playlist. We need you. The sum total will be about 2 hours. If you can watch that before you start with this, that'll be very helpful.
Yeah, that's what we do. We have just a training video that we have them watch beforehand, just for our systems, and a couple, like Vast Action and Vector Connect, and just becoming familiar with terminology. And I know when Catherine first started with us, I was like, there's a lot of information here that you're not going to use all right away, because you don't want to, scare somebody off for a couple days.
Yes.
But they're helpful, so I'm glad you guys are using those too.
I really like you with your hair down like that. It's gorgeous.
Oh, thank you. I woke up late and took a shower anyway, so.
This is that.
My kids to school.
This is a nice look on you. This is your natural hair, right? Like.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
It's absolutely ravishing. You should keep it.
Oh, okay. I'll think about keeping my hair. Sounds good.
I know. It's lovely. You have it's luscious. That's what I like about it. And
thank you.
Yeah, and I don't say that for a lot of people. I complimented what's her face. Chelsea Banks. I was like, you're a beautiful girl. I wish I could have your kind of allure. You have you just have the supermodel look, and I'm like. Yes. I said, sorry, don't mean to sound like some sleazy old man. I am married.
Yeah, right.
But I purposed in my heart that when you should always compliment somebody if you mean it, So it's just be in the spirit of being, what do you call that? Just in relationship.
Yeah, anyway, thank you.
Yeah. But I want to talk to you about Prima.
Yep, I want to go for sure.
It's kind of a stalled project. I wouldn't say it's a project, like a stalled project, to follow up with them to see what their development looks like. They said that, we have features coming in the future where we're going to do what Hubstaff does. I'm sure you've looked at Hubstaff before.
For features to come out.
But they're a little cheaper, so you probably get it. I found a comparison, like somebody on slant.co wrote about Prima versus Hubstaff, and it says Hubstaff is ranked 5th in the worldwide. They're ranked 5th, while Prima is ranked 12th. But Hubstaff is more expensive.
Exactly, which is why we didn't go with the more expensive one, because as you know, it just creates the overhead. And then do you guys have like the yearly subscriptions for everybody on your?
I should do that, but because it, it doesn't look like there's a difference. Do you get a discount for the yearly?
I think for the monthly it was like $4.
Yes.
And I think for the yearly it was like 40 or 36 or something like that. It's not like a big discount, but I just didn't like seeing the charges on my account every single month. So I just did the yearly.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I may do that only for I may do that for my senior staff because you know that they don't go. But I think you can inactivate it if they you don't if somebody leaves or if they're on hiatus or something like that. You can turn it off or something like that, and turn it off so that you don't get charged or something. So I that's something that I've been very bad at. I'm not the most detail oriented person, so I'm like, Kim, take care of it. Uh, but as far as I know, um, I hold on here. I actually did a chat to them. Let me just check it out really quick here. And we started to. Oh, okay, got it. So, yeah, okay, that's fine. So I have been, the little chat feature on Prima.
Nope.
So when you go to Prima, bottom right, there's a little green bubble that has a chat.
Oh, a chat feature with their staff.
Yeah.
Yes, I've used that before.
So when I um, when I suggest some stuff, um, they hi they and I also email like I'm like, hey, you guys do this? You said that we should do blah 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 blah. Uh,
Mhm.
so I sent in suggestions. They have a forum. I'm gonna try and refer to you here. I just can't remember.
Well, I have a forum and we've like given suggestions and things like that. But then like there's this new thing where they're like, between this one and this one, which one do you prefer? Between this one and this one, which one do you prefer? And so they started changing it up a little bit. And I don't know how many features they're actually working on.
Oh,
There's only a couple that I would really like, but it's not like my suggestions are going to go to like the top of the list or anything, you know?
yeah.
And it's working fine for what we have it for because we don't need that many features to be used. We only use the time tracking. We're not using the attendance, so I'm not
It
even
doesn't work though. Yeah,
it's
because
too much work.
attendance is if you have employees and if you're tracking only their time and it's a totally separate like tracking system.
Yeah, there's just too many. Just that weird tracking system in there, but we're just using the time tracking one, and it's working perfectly for everything we need it for, just like you.
I agree with you. I as you scale though, one of the things that I would urge you to consider, I'm sure it's in the back of your mind, is how do you scale accountability? I mean, how do you scale sustainably so that you can have whatever teams or layers of leadership? Because
Yep.
when you how many staff do you have now?
Yeah, 6.
Okay, yeah, as you scale to like 10 or 15, which I'm sure there's an intention for you. How do you promote people, put them in charge of people, and how do you like track all that crap?
Yeah.
And how do you get them to make sure that that's being tracked properly? It so I'm like scratching my head, going, how the hell? Like, how are we gonna do that in such a way that there is when there's across generations? Because I'm thinking of that right now. And I talked to my coach. When you have layers of generations, let's say when this third or fourth generation below you, what are you gonna do? Like, so I was like scratching my head. Do we need to move to hub staff? I'd rather see Prima add those features in,
Agreed.
and I'm hoping they do. I said I don't mind paying $4.50 or $5 as long as my 3 are free. Don't mess with my free 3 because that's smart of them, very smart. That's why I'm still stuck on them. If they charge me for that, I'm gonna go to Hubstaff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I'm trying to find the forum where shit. Sorry, not as prepared as I want to be, but they came back with the chat and they said, "Oh, Miss Godwin, actually working on these features, yada yada yada." But we are working on mouse tracking keystrokes and screenshots, and I'm like, that's great for security. I would like to see that happen because one day I'm scared. What happens if one day with somebody with malicious intent decides to hack into the network? I don't think Google's all that safe, in my opinion.
Okay.
I've read multiple, even though they have two-step and all that fun stuff, but I still don't
You
even.
mean in like Gmail or where?
Unless you have Google Suite, just the public Google domains, or there's just Gmail in general, as secure as it can be. I've been hacked before,
Mm-hmm.
even with two-step. I've been hacked, and lucky thing,
World did that happen?
China.
Oh Jesus.
So what happened was, and then Kristen's account got hacked as a result because I have her.
It's all connected.
Yes, it's on my phone.
Yeah.
So I used the native mail feature, right? And I added her, and then I added the assistant account. So she, her account, her assistant, there's my stuff, there's Avid stuff,
Yep.
and it all got hacked. Even with two-step.
I don't even know how that's possible. That's ridiculous.
Lucky thing she got a text. That's how it all started. She got a text, then I got a text, and it said, "Is this you? You got something from China. Your location was accessed from China. Is this you?" Lucky thing, her wife is like ex-military. She's she's ex-military Nazi. She works with Department of Defense, or something. I can't remember. So she's like freaking out for Kristen, and we reset everything. We changed all the passwords.
I didn't know Kristen was married.
Married to a wife.
Okay. Yeah. No, I just didn't know she was married at all. Okay, that's
a
okay.
kid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. Okay, I know she had a kid. I didn't know she was married. Okay, I'm sorry.
She's married. And her wife. It took them a while, arguments, but after she got cancer, then her wife took her last name.
Yeah. I know I actually just learned recently that she had cancer, but I know she beat it too. So that's.
Yeah, she's a strong cookie, and she's on a rampage to set the world on fire.
Yeah. You can see it.
Yeah, it's good for her. I don't work with her as much anymore because we helped her build a team, and she's using a team from the Philippines.
Oh, I didn't realize that. How is she? How are they doing?
Not bad, but she's breaching her contract. She's had to then go through Filipino lawyers, and I'm like, well, you're able to pay $3 an hour, and I understand. I mean, I'm just empathizing. I understand. I've trained Filipino team members before for other people, like Taylor Waithofer has Filipino boys too. They're not supposed to do that. See, so if you've been a DM, so you probably know this way more than I have. My husband told me this, and I read the contract, a rep contract. You cannot ghost. I mean, that one we know already because Stu Smith talked about that. But you're not supposed. Not only can you not ghost, you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to have somebody overseas do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because vectors, they're very proud of the fact they've never been hacked before. Security and stuff like that, and they don't want to start now. That's why Stu came out of retirement to spearhead this project, and among other things, because I heard that Stu's actually retired. So I was like,
I thought he was retired, so I was surprised to hear them talking about him and everything. So
this must be really important. That's why they brought him out of retirement, and he's spearheading this project. That's why he's doing this with a passion, and I understand that. Like, I don't want to go against Vector. I want to be compliant and be with them and all that stuff. So, yeah, I mean, so she knows that it's not right.
Yeah.
And the only thing that she tries to be compliant is that they save it as pending, and then somebody here in the States will then put the cards in and stuff like that. To me, it's no different, They have access to the forms. So I mean, they're trustworthy. I've met them. I know them. She shares half a team with Taylor Waithofer, and I know them. I've instructed them. We have dealings on X2. I've trained them. They're very nice people, but the point is there are rules in place, and I'm scared, I guess, for her. But she's shored up her legal. Her wife is in HR, in a government contracting position, so the wife knows a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
The wife's really shored her up and stuff like that. So that's that's what she deals with. It's what it is. I'm just like, not for me to talk about. We're assistants. We understand this world. I'm fine sharing that, you know.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want Vector to know that.
Of course.
She doesn't want Vector to know it. But John Kane heard chatter. Not from me, but from somebody else. So I'm like, oh, I didn't.
Well, when John Kane made that comment this weekend, that was like, I know more than you think I do. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, all right, good. And I'm glad that you know everything because, you know, we do everything by the book, but I know that not everybody does.
Correct.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I, you know, as a rule follower myself, you know, I don't care. It's nice that he knows everything. Let's just put it that way.
I trust him. I trust him wholeheartedly. He's
definitely
a good person.
He has the best intention of not only the company, but also everybody who's a part of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, he comes from the standpoint of love and honor, which I really appreciate. That's why he gets along so well with everybody.
Exactly.
A really big heart. But he's also very, very smart, very wise.
He is.
I hope that they put together that assistant summit. I can't wait.
I know, and that'd be great.
Yeah. We have a whole year, so I'm sure it'll probably be that. I suspect it'll either be before or after summer because, you know, the company's in a frenzy with the recruiting.
Oh yeah, summer's way too crazy for something like that. So it would either be something like, you know, March, April, or it would be like October, November.
Yeah, there's a mini push right now, sort of, not really. And then after that, it's ramp up time. And I know because my husband will be in the office most of the day, so.
Exactly. Well, all of our reps are still pretty dormant right now. So we're just working on a lot of projects. I'm sure you guys are too.
Same. We are like, okay, it's time to market. Now it's the time to market. What can we do to help? What can we do to help? Keep pushing. What can we do to help? Come on, the girls need something to do. We're kept busy because we have a simultaneous industries. We have like 2 and 2 clients, so we're kept busy with education a little bit. What else? We're trying to break into the medical market because Kim keeps telling me I'm a little too ambitious, but I'm like, I only have 30 or so years, maybe 50 or so years to live. So if I don't do it now, she's like, don't be like Kristen, don't push too fast. I'm like, listen, I'm learning. She goes, we need systems, we need infrastructure. Her heart is very much like yours, very, systems driven.
Structure, yeah.
Gotta make sure your layers are good. You don't want to smash up the cake. Your lasagna neat. That's how she is. I'm the troublemaker in the company. She gave me a lecture this morning. She's like, you gotta stop. We gotta build this. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's too funny.
Yeah, it is. So I have people
How are you guys trying to break in though? Like, how would you even do that?
So we hired, when I hire strategically. I talk to my staff. What is your history? Blah blah blah. And I try to hire people with the heart to do this with the right background, right? Like, so my intention is not now, but maybe at the end of the year or next year to break into the medical market. It's a whole nother world now. One thing is I have experience in that world, HIPAA. So you know what HIPAA law is? Basically it's privacy law. So you have to be HIPAA compliant as a company. And then your company, if you are going to be virtual, has to go through a HIPAA audit by a HIPAA certified agency that can do these technology audits. It's a couple of $100.
Jeez.
Yeah. But the profit margin is way better if you know how to package and market. And I have experience in that line. I worked for 2 medical offices. One was medium sized, one was small. In both, I learned what the medical world is. I learned the laws. I learned about this whole nother secret world. So I don't know if you know much about it. Do you have any medical experience at all? So, and this is just banter. In how doctors profit is through the language of coding. So I'm sure you've in passing heard of like now, oh, if you want to go in the medical line, you should be a
transcription and
yes, coder, biller. So a coder or a biller is basically a person who specializes in taking all the diagnoses from the doctor. So each diagnosis, each little tiny little thing, inflammation of the throat, something of the eye, yada, 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 you know, acne vulgaris, whatever, it has a code. You
Yep.
can only, when you do your notes, you can put as many diagnosis codes as you want. If you're sending this to the insurance company, right, to get money, if you're part of an insurance network as a doctor, as a physician's practice, most insurance companies will only pay out or accept 5 lines of code, no matter how many you put in there. Aetna only accepts 4 lines of code. And each code has a certain monetary value that is assigned to it. So the question is, who's responsible for the money? Who's responsible to pay out? If the patient has a deductible, they're responsible for paying out for those lines of code first. You see how the deductible works now?
Yep.
That's how they make money. And then when they meet their deductible, if it's the same diagnosis, whatever the diagnosis is, then the insurance will pay out. But the doctor will get his money either way. That's how this industry works. And then you have the doctors who say, screw you guys, I'm only accepting cash, you know. So then they accept just a flat fee, or, you know, they don't charge the client according to money. I mean, that's their own structure, but that's how that world works. And the dictionary or the compendium of all these codes, they have different versions. So in the entire world, it is governed by the World Health Organization. Mm-hmm. In WHO, now the version is called ICD-10. So the entire world uses ICD-10, and they've been using it since 2012. Canada had to go through a very painful transition because that literally, you can already think, oh my gosh, the codes now are more detailed. They have some of the codes change. Can you imagine what pandemonium that causes to a system or a CRM? You know, because now the doctor has to memorize a whole different set of codes, right? It's going to take him longer to write his diagnoses because he has to go looking for the codes in a new compendium or whatever. And then their system has to be upgraded with the new library. It means it's no longer compatible with the old notes.
So how in the world do you break into something like that? That's crazy.
I was a coder and biller. I held 6 different titles as an office manager in a chiropractic practice for 1.5 years. I was groomed to become the office manager. First, I don't even, like, that must be an act of God, how I even got that job. But anyway, I've never been a manager in my life, you know. But I was groomed by the office manager prior to me. She's amazing. She comes from accounting background. She groomed me to become the bookkeeper, the office manager. You know, I took care of all the products in the office, all the vitamins, nutrients, supplements, back pads, you know, whatever the doctor wanted to sell, the products. I took care of the coding. I took care of the billing. I took care of the systems. It was madness. I would work overtime and I was paid salary, so I didn't get overtime. Yeah, I was paid $24 an hour. It was pretty awesome. But you can't bill for overtime, so what the hell are you still doing there at like 7 at night? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was overwhelmed. So, and then you have to, you're a lot on the phone following up on why the insurance hasn't paid out. So, like, insurance is very fond of doing that. Oh, this claim is not real, you know, or the review, whatever. So you're on hold while doing work and taking care of patients, and this other chiropractor screaming her head off or whatever, or it's clients like, why is the doctor so long? So that was my world for 1.5 years before my husband came back to Vector. So I came back here, and then we moved, and then I had to get a pay cut because in this area it's totally different. So I worked for a podiatrist, and he has a biller. He has a biller in office. It's a full-time job to bill and to follow up on code. She's the biller. The coding biller is the person who is the front line between whether the doctor gets his money or not.
Oh, so that's the portion that you're looking to break into then.
Yeah. Actually no, because that you have to hire the right coders, billers. That is a whole nother world. We're looking to do more appointment setting and to break into technology with texting and just, you know, like email reminders and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And to partner with and just to partner with some of the bigger, like some of the smaller offices that want a more affordable solution.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are a lot of small doctors' offices. I am not afraid to cold call. That's what I did for Dr. Toll when I worked here.
Exactly.
Half of my job was I cold called about 380 odd offices in my territory. So once I was done serving him and his and patients, I would like trim nails and dress wounds and stuff like that. Once I was done with that, and the doctor was off duty in the afternoon, I would take off, get in my car, change from a scrub to like a nice outfit, and I would cold call all the different doctors' offices. That was my job. I'm not afraid to market. It's the world I live in, So I also had a coach. She hired a specialist, like a doctor's marketing type of coach for me, who coached me and gave me a system, taught me how to do that. So I'm able to do that. I mean, so I have all experience. Why not? It's ridiculous if you.
Well, if you have some background in that, I mean, it's a good way to, it's a nice way to segue with some other experience you're having with the systems of vector and everything. So,
well, to be honest with you, Michelle, neither of us is going to make a ton of money from Cutco. We'll make a nice nest egg. But, pardon your girls, but I'm fucking tired of dealing with petty punks. I am fucking tired of it.
with reps or with your assistants, just out of curiosity.
The reps.
Yeah.
My assistants are the best people in the world.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because my girls are, everyone's awesome on my team, so they're never the ones that I complain about.
My girls.
Okay, so
oh yeah, they're saints. I always make sure they're taken care of. But we deal with punks on a daily basis. And they're not. Even though when you meet them, they're very. A lot of them very charismatic, and
Oh, of course.
But then in the background, how do you treat the people who support you? That's my question.
Exactly.
And sometimes that's where rubber meets the road.
Frankly, that's where this need came from, is that the reps who are doing, they don't treat their people right, but they need somebody. And so what it comes down to, often enough, I'm not, 100% great at this all the time, but often enough it comes down to me making sure that everyone on our team is taken care of, because the reps don't know how to do it.
Punks.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have my days, man. And then when things don't like meet their expectations, and I've already had a disclaimer, it's still your fault, man.
Yeah.
So I have those days, and I'm like, oh, I really don't want to deal with this right now. You can't put it off because it's customer service.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not going to get any easier, but even if you go to a different industry, you deal with doctors who are in some ways worse.
I'm sure. And that's the thing, is that it's going to be the same in a lot of different industries.
Correct. But that is where I actually have the most experience. I'm very, I'd like to say I'm pretty convincing with doctors, just in general, like getting them to refer business to my doctor, because I'm doing this for referrals, not for medical supplies or anything. I'm not trying to sell anything.
Yeah.
I'm trying to build relationships. So for me, that is a world I'm very familiar with, because I was in it for 4 years. This world I'm used to now, but it gets tiring and stressful because sometimes it's pay, right? And so that's why we started billing weekly. We were like, screw this. The minute you get your paycheck, you're paying us.
Yeah.
And then when credit cards bounce, I don't know if you experienced, but Julian's credit card bounced, got declined the other day, and I'm not sure why. So we have to contact him, and this has happened the second time.
Actually, I just talked to not a client, just one of the vendors, just an engraver who we owed some money to. And it declined, but they called us back, and we said everything's fine, and then they didn't call us back. So I didn't realize. I think his card number just changed.
Probably.
I think it just changed. So I would just connect with him about the credit card number. But no, I haven't finished exploring just billing through either like the QuickBooks or the I haven't finished doing that yet.
But I would highly encourage you to set things up with Allie. She can be trusted. I vetted it took me it took me a month though, to vet all the documents because I was like, I don't know what I'm signing up for here. It's just a 4-year contract. Holy crap, and then but she waived if we did like leave or anything, she waived any penalty fees. It's actually on the contract, so it's
I'm probably not going to do credit card, at least for right now. I would just do through ACH just because it's less expensive.
oh yeah, and then you don't have to worry.
Into
Yeah,
anything else that I'm not already.
that's smart.
Receiving.
I know, and you lose a fair bit of money too. So for us, because we have that layer, it just made more sense. We are losing money, but you know what? We are more cash rich on the front. We're able to pay people.
Yeah.
And that's been a huge problem. Because like Kristen will be like, oh wait, is this charge correct? I thought you were gonna write, then they get all whiny and then you can't. And we were ACHing her too, so she wanted us to text like for Danny. I don't mind that the guy has. He's really not a problem. He's never been a problem.
No.
But with Kristen, she gets a little whiny about why I charged this, but I'm like,
they all get whiny about it.
You don't understand how much work I do for you. Being free. And she goes, well, I didn't ask you to do that. I'm like, yeah, you did. You kind of. So maybe I should just start putting on Prima and uncheck billable. So that you can see all the things that I do. And so we decided that too at our staff meeting. We were like, even if you do work for free, you need to show the value of what you do, even if it's 1 minute. I don't care. Because you're selling yourself short, which means we are all selling ourselves short.
Well, but that's the thing is if, that's very interesting because normally we just don't put it on there, but like with our staff meetings and stuff like that, but it should be on there. It should be on their time for the staff meeting, even if they just uncheck the billable box, right?
Correct. So if you uncheck it, it will still show, and then you'll see billable versus non-billable. And then when you do the billing, you'll be able to see billable versus non-billable. It's good to know how much we're getting for free.
Correct.
Right, and that's that way you can even use that number as a value to promote.
Honestly, just with some things that came up at the conference this weekend, I'm like, we should be doing jack shit for free for them. Jack shit.
Seriously.
You know what I mean? I don't know who they were talking about, but they were saying, so there's somebody who's speaking, I don't know if it was Jeremy Caton or who they were talking about, but they're like, yeah, we'll just do, 50 talks a year at $3,000 a pop. And, he's comfortable at 150,000. And I'm like, yeah, I'd be comfortable there too. Very comfortable.
Yeah, I just told my girls, I'm like, 5 minutes that you give somebody free, you work ethically. Make sure that when you tell us you're going to work, you show up to work, right? And it's accountable to give you the work. But if that is your mindset and you're ready to work, you've got your earrings on, your makeup, and you're sitting where you need to sit, then work. And coming from that mindset and that situation, you should damn well bill. Damn well bill. I don't care. Okay, even if you have to pause the clock here or take out 5, right? Because your 5 minutes, you have to take a phone call for somebody else.
Yeah.
You charge. You have to.
Correct.
Because that is your time.
Well, and I mean, even like with, I'm sure that, I think it in the beginning it was a little bit different, but I mean, even if we're like going to the bathroom or something like that, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh, I feel so guilty. Like I was in the bathroom for 3 minutes, but you're like, that's what I would do if I was working at any other job.
I mean, I bring my laptop to the bathroom, but.
Oh, well, I don't do that, no. Because I have a desktop and there's no way in hell I'm bringing that into the bathroom.
You have a desktop, that's right. That's smart though. That means you're working,
Because you're working. If I was working at, just like I worked with like Bank of America, they're not gonna not pay me for 3 minutes because I went to the bathroom. Right. And you're gonna pay me for going to the bathroom too, or going and grabbing a snack, or taking a stretch break. Like you're gonna pay for that.
Exactly.
So we didn't used to do that. So things evolve and they're still evolving. So just little things like that.
Would you say you're pleased with how you see Vector Hand finally stepping up to the plate and handling all the different situations?
They're getting better. I mean, it's never going to get to the point where they're going to pay for any kind of admin work, so that. That
would be cool though, wouldn't it?
That would be great. That would be great. Or if it came out of the reps, pay, because I know that the reps just don't see as much value as I think that we all do for them.
It'll never happen because that's not the
No,
model they adopt with district managers. They'll never adopt it for
no, it's not.
no.
No.
Um,
But just like they took an interest in investing in the district manager position with the cars and the stipend for their rent and stuff like that, they may end up eventually investing more into the CGC program.
I hope so because
It's just not there yet. But I think with the fact that what was the sales down for CGC last year? It was down $1 million,
three
3 million.
3 mil.
Um,
Yeah, it speaks because now other industries are starting to poach. Like into
they are.
we haven't poached. It was so bad for us. I mean,
Was John King saying that they can't do both, or what was the problem with that? I was trying to figure out what the problem was. And is Real Producers and N2 the same thing?
yeah. Real Producers is the brand, N2 is the company, the holding company.
Okay. Because I kept seeing them interchangeable, and I was pretty sure that they were. I mean, how many magazine companies are there out there for realtors? So I thought they were the same thing.
The publication company is called intopublishing.com, and then the publication is called Real Producers, and they have different.
Okay, it's like a DBA. Okay.
So yeah, that's correct. It's a DBA, and then their model is exactly like district manager model, where the area director has their own district.
Who are your people who are doing N2 right now?
Kristen, well, not really anymore. We did it. We set her up for success. Lindsay's barely started. I heard that Tanya dabbled a little bit, but she's not gonna do it. She
did it for like a little while, and I was just like, between that and our Tuesday Haven thing and the N2, I'm like,
too much. It's a lot.
You're trying to like grow a team, and Michael Master just came on, and Leah just came on. And I'm like,
yeah, and then Victor just came on, and all those, but Victor doesn't do anything. We've processed one order for him.
Yeah.
Her account's like hot mess, man.
I told you, it's a fucking nightmare. Have fun.
I know, that's what I said. I was like, okay, I have the preliminary stuff kind of figured out. You guys ready to go? I just gave it to my team. I was like, can you handle this? You sure? Here you go. And they just took
after 2 years, I still didn't 100% understand because she kept changing her mind, and her vast action is a fucking nightmare just to set up a marketing email to go out. Are you setting those up, her marketing emails?
Takes me 2 hours.
Oh yeah. Oh, it takes you 2 hours? Well, that's way too long, Carissa. What's taking you so fucking long?
Well, because she's added a lot of people to her thing.
Oh, I know. And all the different signatures and the different account managers and.
Oh my gosh. I will say this. I think she must have learned from the relationship with you guys, because I haven't seen her be that nitpicky with us so far.
Oh yeah, she wasn't nitpicky for the first 6 months. Don't worry.
But she's been nitpicky with the person who's doing her rolos. Like, she says that like so and so misses this, so and so misses, and I told her, I was like, you know what? Give me everything. I want to hear it. Give it to me. I'll write it down, because I want to make sure that I definitely want to explore that. And I hope you forgive us. 1 in 10, there may be a little bit of we forget this or forget that, because it's very manual. Mm-hmm. But Kristen has really leveraged that, so she's like pushing to sell her on X2. I don't know if it'll really solve all her problems, because
I think X2 for Tanya's system, just my opinion, would make it worse.
That's why I told Tanya. She asked me, she said, what do you think? I said, I'll be honest with you. If we're going to do this, we have to be very careful, because you have a lot to lose, or a lot it goes haywire, And so she asked me for a thesis. I was like, yes, it's fine, but if you don't mind, she's on vacation right now, so can I just give it to you when you come back? She goes, yeah, no problem. But she asked me for I call it a thesis. I was joking with her. I said, I'll give you a thesis on, I don't know, Michelle, I don't give a shit about like reps being all, like Tanya or not. I respect her for wanting to be a good business leader, whatever that she wants from that. She's lost.
Very lost.
She's lost. And I'm like, I took your advice to heart. I was very cautious going into this. I was like, okay, you know, are you sure? You know, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But I started charging her for my time too. When we talk and we call, we try to be productive. I told her, hey, do you mind if I charge you for this call? But let's get to it. Let's solve the problems. Let's do this. Let's do that, so that you can see progress, and it's not just going yank 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 talking about Mackie or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's got such a potty mouth, man.
Yeah, he sure does.
He's going, mommy, poop. And she's like, Becky, what did I tell you? And I'm like, you know, you put poop face on your stuff. What do you expect? So.
Oh yeah.
That's
Oh,
she's a crazy one. She's one of the crazies. Yeah, that's one of the that's one thing that we have to take care of. So I literally, it's been how many months now? I just finally gave the team over, like I relinquished control.
just a moment. Sorry, go ahead.
So that's her. What do you guys intend to do for growth, and do you guys see yourselves like moving into a different industry?
I mean, we're just looking to do this one for right now. I did have somebody who had asked me for help in something else, but I don't know if it's going to work. I just see, I'm the opposite of you, where I'm like, I really want to get our systems like really underway.
Shore up your systems. Yep.
Yeah, just really make sure those systems are locked down. You know, be able to, you know, take a day off or two from the office and know that everything is handled and taken care of. You know, making sure that things are just on top of just, you know, square charges for third-party products, and, you know, just coming up with some other systems for the people we currently work with versus working with a ton of different people. You know, just trying out some new systems with some people that we work with currently, like the texting base, like do you guys still do the 90-day follow-up for Tanya stuff on the Facebook? Yeah, so we're just implementing that with more people. We're going to be doing a little bit more of the reorder calls, just that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Not looking to necessarily change industries and have to like learn something completely different when there's so many people in our industry who need help right now.
Yeah, honestly, there's a lot.
I know.
Whether it's CGC or Fair and Show, I guess that scene is always growing, I guess, or changing. It's very interesting. I will say that much. The landscape keeps changing, and the next thing you know, the CSP wants to go here, or that district manager now wants to be a CSP, and
exactly
comes to us and, oh, I need help. Okay, all right. You know, what do you?
And I think the thing that you and I both have to offer the most is just that, you know, you don't have to go out and train a brand new assistant and tell them like, this is how you roll an order. You know, you and I just kind of take care of all that, you know, all that part of it for them, not only in the training aspect, but also the, you know, ready to go part of it.
Yeah, and we're a small business, so there's always leeway for them to dictate, you know, a portion of those layers or those systems, you know, a little bit of it. I know that I've been having some conflicting thoughts about how do we, like, with our how do we structurally, staff wise, systems wise, how do we make this more efficient, so that, do we just standardize it, and then if the client signs on, this is how it works, or do we give them room to maneuver within that system, you know? So there's always a lot of that kind of conversation going on in our organization, and I'm sure you guys must have a little bit of that chatter as well, you know, because there's always room to grow, and then a client wants to, they're more assertive, they want to kind of, can I change the script? Oh yeah, that one, no problem. I mean, that's easy. I teach mindset. I don't do script.
Small enough where it's customizable, but it's big enough where I can take the time to develop a system. Right. And know that it's not just for one person or only for the 2 tasks that I do in a month, but rather for the 15 or 30 tasks that get done in a month.
Right. Yeah. And I think for the greater whole, and then, you know, trying to figure out a way that it can still stay personal. That's correct. For me, I think that's the biggest challenge right now. Big one. And just to be the clients, just to continue to improve and to support everyone who's in the industry, to continue to make sure that there's good dialogue and conversations, good leeway for brainstorming, and yet that we, you know, that we're still profitable, whatever that looks like. because I really think I really still think that assistants need to grow together. And the industry, as the industry grows, we really like price wise. That's why I was when Vast Action very boldly raised their prices. I was like, perfect, screw you all. It's $20 an hour at start. You know, because they came, like a lot of people came to us and they were like, oh, you know, I don't know if I want to pay Fast Action 20. And I'm like, well, you know, think about this. You're paying for levels of accountability. You're paying for one person. You're paying for time, right?
Correct.
You're paying for all the technology that goes on in the background to track. You're paying for peace of mind, right? You're paying for a pre-existing system that still you can have a say into customizing it. So an extra
Yeah.
$5 is not a lot to ask.
Yeah.
And that's always the stuff that I come up with when clients are like, ooh, that's a bit steep.
Yeah. Are you guys using a system for like making like multiple reorders at one time?
Say it again.
The multiple like reorder calls at one time. Do you guys have like a system that you're using for that, or a program or something?
Oh yeah, it's not worth it. We don't want to pay for it. It's great, but it's not the solution.
Okay, I'm just wondering because like, you know, as far as, you know, like one, you know, 2 calls at one time instead of 1, and
It's called a triple line dialer.
triple line dialer.
Yeah, there are several in the market. I went on a rampage earlier last year and I researched something like 30 odd dialers. It took me a week because I was very curious and I was like,
You sound like my prima rampage. Like I researched like 30 of them.
yeah, and this way when you hear the word Hubstop, you're like, of course I've seen that one.
Exactly.
Okay, so there's this funny story. There's this dialer called Dolphin Dialer. It's very good, but it's very ugly, and it only works on Microsoft.
Oh, really? Okay.
And you have to install it, and it's, you know, then it connects to then it connects to the server. You still have to dial in. I'm sure you know how all this stuff works, right?
Correct.
But the one that like the N2 industry is using is Mojo. Mojo Dialer, a bit pricey though. So you either, for me, I'm like, okay, rep, I can't afford that. If you want me to buy it for you, I will charge you $25 an hour for calls.
Correct.
You know, that's just the simple conclusion. And so, you know, why don't you buy it yourself? So I'll tell you a fun story. There's a guy, he's FSM. He branched first year last year. He's from John Wasserman's office in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. This dude was recommended by JPB. Everybody knows JPB. You know JPB.
Everybody knows him.
He's a mutual contact. Not really, like he's a potential mentee, but not really. He hasn't decided to take him on yet. Excuse me. His name is Quentin. And Quentin called me. Great chat, 45 minutes. We onboarded him. And remember, this kid has barely reached FSM, okay? Maybe not even. I thought he was FSM, I don't think so. And usually we don't take anybody below FSM because they're not profitable. He begged. And he seemed, and I had met him at Vegas. He won an incentive trip previously.
Yeah.
So I was like, fine, you know, since we have an existing relationship, let's test it out. That kid was more trouble than he was worth. He took up so much of my time complaining on the phone. So he called, we talked, I talked, convinced he wanted to do, you know, he's still in school actually, but it was summer. So he wanted to do SC1. And then I hooked up Kim with him. Kim's one of our callers and my right hand. And Kim's the best person we have. So Kim called him, talked to him, and then he reneged. Oh, she talked to him, and then she told him about the technology we use, right? So since then, we don't talk technology. Like, girls, you're not, if somebody asks you, clients ask you what technology you use, why don't you talk to Carissa? You know? And so she told him we use Mojo Dialer. Like, we can use Mojo Dialer. And so we tried, like we purchased for 2 months to try it out. It really was not worth it. Trust me, it's not worth it.
Okay.
It just, for the way we schedule our dialer use to maximize it for the girls. We assign a dialer to 2 girls. So somebody takes the morning shift, somebody takes the afternoon shift, so that the dialer can always be in use. Mojo, you can't do that, or you can, but you would have to purchase. So you basically purchase the mainframe, the main database module, and then you still have to purchase a user for a dialer, so we would have to purchase 2 users or whatever, and that's $10 over and above like $150 or $180.
Oh, wow.
See, so it goes into the hundreds per month.
Yeah, that's expensive.
So it just didn't make sense for us. We were like, okay, triple line, so what,
Yeah.
Because I actually talked to Mojo, and they said you'll be surprised at how unfrequently people don't pick up, which is the truth, because our pickup rate is about anywhere from, if we hit it right, it's 10 to 20%, right? So give me 10 seconds. I'm going to reply to someone to get those for me. Almost. Can you give me 10 minutes? Okay, can I use the bathroom really quick?
Yeah, go.
We can wrap up.
I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Your eyeballs are no longer floating.
Yeah. Whoo. Yes, correct. I'm like this, and my staff always laugh. Like halfway through a staff meeting, I'm giving some talk, and then suddenly, sorry guys, I lost my train of thought. I gotta pee, and they're like, "Oh, that's so Carissa." I'm like,
That's funny.
But anyway, I will have to get off here in a second. I don't know if we were productive today. I just wanted to connect with you. I felt like we didn't connect very much, and I felt very sad about that.
Yeah, I know. We didn't get a chance to talk too much to Big Pen.
But at least we got that 1 hour assistant time. But it was,
that was great.
That was everybody brain, and I'm glad Amy was listening, because from the horse's mouth,
You are not kidding. It's so glad she got a chance to listen to everything that we were going over.
Can't wait for the summit. I hope they follow through with that assistant thing, and maybe we'll just poke them at separate ends, And,
right.
Yeah, just so anyway, Quentin, just to wrap up my story, and then I'll let you go. Quentin Quentin decides to drop us.
Of course.
Immediately after getting the information from Kim, he says, "You know what? I'm gonna put this on pause." He calls me, and I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "I don't think, Kim told me about Mojo Dialer. I think I'm just gonna try it myself." I'm like, "You are such a nut. You know that? You're a butt." I didn't tell him that, but I was like, so I told him, like, he's this young dude, tall young chico, so he's young, in his early 20s, maybe, teens. So he's young, like 20 years old. And I was like, why the bleep did I even bother taking? He's not mature enough to understand what we're trying to do.
Exactly.
I was like, okay, fine. He's like, can you refund me my setup fee? I said,
no.
I was gonna say no.
I'm sure you did.
I did. I was like, I'm not. You know what? It's not a battle I want to fight. He's a young chico.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't have enough money. He just probably broke even at branch. Whatever.
Yeah.
Fine.
Exactly.
So I gave it back to him, and he made calls, and then he called me about a week and a half later, right before SC2. SC1 had just finished. So before SC2, now he wants to do the SC2 push. He called me, and I was like, what do you want? No, I'm just kidding. No, I didn't do that. But I was like, hey, what's up? And I told Kim, I said, please, no talk about technology next time. We don't talk about technology. We don't talk about, unless people ask, like, oh, do you partner with tech teams? Yes, of course we know how to do that stuff, But, I mean, it's no point. So, no. So anyway, he's like, can I get some advice? And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, you little asshole. No. But, I'm nice. So he asked for advice. He's like, hey, can you call Pink Slips? I'm like, I thought you didn't want us to call because you have the Mojo Dialer,
Exactly.
I was like, by this time, I'm like, okay, I'm washing my hands. I don't want you anymore. So he begged. And he says, can I, I want to use you. I realized that
it's harder than it looks.
I'll pay for Mojo because I'm calling so much I don't have time to do the appointments. See? Yeah. So I'm like, okay, fine, you convinced me. That's what we want for people. We want to give them a chance to go and do appointments, and we'll work with you to make sure that we're finding the most optimal times to call and all that fun stuff. Exactly. So he was okay. Can you he said, I need to give you the pink slips. And he's in Philadelphia, which is about 2.5 hours. I said, I'm not going to drive there, but you can mail it over. But
Yeah.
somebody's going to scan it in and key it in electronically so that that can go into your Mojo, right? You can upload the CSV. So he's trying to figure that out. And I'm like, I have a girl here who can do that. Do you want to mail them? But, don't forget admin's $20 an hour. I'm like, I'm not giving this kid a chance. So, I was discouraging him. So he said $20. I said, why don't you just pay one of your 15-year-old cousins or somebody from your office
Yep.
who's a kid to go digitize them. Somebody who's, you've been a manager now, so you know how to pick somebody, right? You've learned how to interview people. Just pick somebody. Ask them to digitize it. Pay 2 people because apparently his man, John Wasserman, gave him like a whole stack. So lucky him. So he never actually came back to us for the calls. August, he came back to us and said, I'll pay you guys to call from Mojo. So we put one of our most experienced receptionists on, like she was John's receptionist, then she came to join us because they got rid of the receptionist program. Yeah. I put Rachel on it, and she comes pre-packaged because she knows how to do all this shit.
Exactly, she knows to call.
Yeah, so I was like, Rachel, can you call for, don't forget, he's one of those typical punks that you've experienced in the office. So you deal with him. Can you do that? She goes, great. She called. He complained to me. He's like, this is a ripoff. He texted me a very rude message. This is a ripoff. For $300 or something like that for only 2 sets. And Rachel had texted him asking, and she never hears from him, so she continues. Rachel had texted him asking if he wanted her to continue because apparently the leads that he gave her that were in Mojo, that particular area had a Cutco shop. So people were going, she had more, like about 20 or 30% of the people she encountered on the phone that actually picked up already sharpened their stuff at the shop. So the touch rate was very high, but the decline rate was very high because of that damn shop. So she was trying to communicate with him. He wasn't very communicative. So now he says that we rip him off when we try to be accountable to him. We had tried to reach out. So I told Rachel, I said, just stop. And, we, lucky thing we got his credit card. That's why I was so happy to have his credit card. This is one instance where he's like, it's a ripoff. We charged him anyway. We were like, screw it. It's a debit card.
You didn't dispute it or anything?
I'm sorry?
You didn't dispute it or anything?
Oh yeah, he disputed it bitterly. I'm like, we did the work. We're charging.
Oh no, I mean with the credit card company because they could do that. Oh, okay.
He got the money by that time.
All right, good.
Yeah, because he's a kid.
Yep.
He didn't check until later. Because we send Prima statements and then we bill 3 days later.
Correct.
Just a chance. He didn't even check, so that's his problem. And then he was really mad. And then one of my husband's ex-branches now goes to Temple University in Philly. So he works out of John Waz's office, had shoulders with Quentin. Lindsay Musser, who is from Waz's office. I told Lindsay about it. She and I chat sometimes, and I mentioned, she goes, let me guess, it's Quentin, right? So apparently he's quite the reputation for being a little punk.
For being like that.
Mm-hmm. So I'm not too worried about my honor, there's nothing.
You can't, as long as you know that you've done what you needed to do. And
absolutely.
That you did the correct thing. And that's exactly like my whole thing at the end of the day when, why is this so hard? Why is there so many hours? I'm like, I don't know. Did you sell 10 grand last week? It's just like,
hello, the proportion of work. Same with N2. Like, wow, why is my bill so high? Yeah, because you added so many advertisements to your pub. Do you know how many more stories that is? Do you know how much more eyes need to be on that stuff?
Correct.
Kristen used to complain, why is my bill so high? Because you grew.
Correct. Oh, that reminds me. How's Conveyor going?
Conveyor's great. It's like texting based, but more fun. More client engagement.
Liking it? Okay, cool.
I love it. And if you decide that you want to refer people to this program, I'll give you a finder's fee. Not a lot because I don't really get.
No, I know you don't.
But I'd like to, for them.
So then are you charging, so you charge 4 cents a text, correct?
Yeah.
And how much is Conveyor charging? Is it 1 or 2 or something like that?
2.
Like 2 cents. Okay.
Yeah. So I can't
I talked
even.
to Isaac for a little while, and he was like, just kind of explaining the model and like a little bit about what you were doing, but not really, because it's kind of like crosses over, just with other client relations and stuff like that. So, but you just alluded to it, so I kind of figured that was what was going on. So, do you have a monthly fee that you have to pay to Conveyor?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, it's for their time so that they can do the support, and it's worth their time to help with the support and stuff like that.
Correct.
But yeah, he's been very generous. He's a great guy, and
okay. Yes.
I appreciate him. And I talked to both of them. I talked to Texting Base and I talked to Conveyor. The one thing I don't like about Texting Base is that they pre-charge. So do you as you refer people to them, do you get a referral fee?
For who? For Conveyor or for Texting Base?
Texting Base.
No, we're not working with them, enough to, be in conversations with them about things. I'm mostly just using the individual representatives account right now, but I'm just trying to figure out if it makes sense to go over to Conveyor or if there's enough features that our reps are going to be using. And
I want to help you benefit from this relationship. We should talk about that a little more.
Yeah, we can talk about that more with like Isaac next time.
Whatever that looks like. Because I've been talking to Steven and I, he's the developer, founder.
Correct.
We have monthly meetings to talk about how to make it better and all that stuff, what people are asking for. But some reps, they don't really want to change to whatever we have to offer because
they're kind of just either set in their ways or they're, how many people do you have using the Conveyor?
5. So they're my guinea pigs. Yeah, and they know it. They're
right.
But we really have a lot of fun. You can set up snippets and replies. So like if you go to Nordstrom and you buy stuff, and then the reception, the cashier is like, hey, if you want to get an extra 20%, sign up for the mobile updates. Text this keyword, right? Like save to this number, and it'll opt you in, and you'll get like stuff. So they have something like that. So it is an autoresponder. So if you text the word yes to sharpening, see how we do the sharpening stuff, then you can have an autoresponder to that yes. Anybody who gets added to the yes group will get an auto-response saying, thank you for your interest. Somebody will be in touch with you within 48 hours.
Oh, cool.
Easy. And so my girl thought that up. She set it up.
That's only on Conveyor. That's not on Texting Base?
Right.
With like the auto response and then like the texting code and stuff like that.
Right.
Okay.
Just Texting Base is very en masse right now. They're nowhere close to, not yet. I mean, he took Eric is that me or is that you?
I don't think that's me.
Oh, speaking of that, somebody's calling my phone? What the? Hold on. It's weird. Oh, okay, never mind. Yep.
The Google Hangouts?
So yeah, sometimes people call the Google Voice.
The Google Hangout thing, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, where the hell? Which one? Because you have like 6 accounts open and you have to frantically look. Anyway, I should let you go. Yeah, we yacked a lot. I know that.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just about that time. I gotta work on projects.
I've talked more than you, so I apologize for that.
Okay. Are you done for the day?
No, by no means.
Okay. I know it's like 5:15 there, so.
No, I've been sick, so I've been sleeping in. So I start my day around 9:30.
Okay.
Because I just can't get out of it.
Yeah, I understand.
By the time I drive,
you're gonna go back to your routine pretty soon.
Slowly, yeah. You're a mom, you understand.
Oh yes, I do.
I'm sure you've had to take care of many fevers, so.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know how you do it, seriously.
It's not fun. The fevers part, the kids part is fine. Kids sick. We were playing Jenga the other night on Facebook, so that was fun with the kids.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Yes, that was
fun. I'm kind of jealous. You have 2 beautiful boys. So beautiful.
They're good. They're good boys. They're good kids.
They're your heart and soul, right?
They sure are. So, well, I will definitely talk to you on Friday for the X2 because I want to see some more stuff on that so I can get some feedback to the reps because they're expecting me to pilot it a little bit.
Yes, and that helps, that you're included in this, so then I can just kill a few birds with one stone. And feel free to just bombard me with questions. I don't have all the answers, but I will do my best.
Perfect.
And I'll make sure that the boys are in this.
Yes. All right. Exciting. All right, my dear. I will see you soon. I'll definitely talk to you on Friday, and then if we need to set up another call for stuff, we will. We will do that to set up another call together.
Yeah, that's good. And then maybe we can we'll text each other. I know you're a busy woman as well, so
yeah, that's fair. We'll talk with some other systems and things like that.
and then we can have a couple more subjects to talk about next round.
Perfect. So, all right. Enjoy your night.
You take care.
See you soon. Bye, Carissa.